Hi, how are you?
2 days. Who's ready? I'm so glad we saved the best for last because we have such a great representation here across the stakeholders that are supporting and building up all these companies, all these startups, all these projects that we've seen here at the Impact Summit in Delhi. So very excited to be here with Amit Mehra of Borderless Capital. I've worked with Borderless for as long as I remember, which is basically the entire history of Algorand, right? It's the first fund in the ecosystem. So I'll let you introduce yourself in a second. We have TR Anand of Tai Bangalore, the Indus and entrepreneurs, right? That's what Tai is. Bangalore being, one of the biggest tech hubs in the world. We have MS Rao, of course, CEO of T-Hub, and my esteemed colleague Min Wei, head of ecosystem at the Algorand Foundation. I am Ryan Terbolini. I lead Algorand Ventures, investing across the ecosystem in impact projects, but as well as Web3, crypto, DeFi, infrastructure, the works. So awesome to see some familiar faces and some portfolio companies here today. So before we kick off into our discussion, which I have a lot of questions for you all, just thought we would briefly go through our panelists and talk about what you do, where you're based. We have good diversity in Indian cities today. So we have Mumbai, Bangalore, and Hyderabad represented, so we can duke it out for which is the innovation hub of India. So Amit, please take it away.
Awesome. So hey guys, nice to see all of you. Maybe very quick intro. So I'm a partner with Borderless Capital. Borderless Capital is, so we are a Web3 VC fund, primarily doing pre-seed and seed investments. We tend to lead rounds, and we have done some strategic investments in later stages as well. Very deep in the Algorand ecosystem, that was one of our first fund with which we started. Then we launched a fund 2 as well, and very grateful to have Foundation kind of as one of the anchors there. Work very closely with the Algorand team. Algorand fund is actually one of our best performing funds. A lot of known faces I've been speaking to, and what is great is also the cohort of companies which was presenting, it just keeps getting better and better. And then we have kind of other funds as well, which we have launched. But again, some of the best teams that we have seen are coming out of the Algorand funds. So.
Thank you. TR?
Yeah, hi. Good evening, everybody. Last session of the day, so hopefully we'll keep it interesting. I represent Tai Bangalore, the Indus Entrepreneurs Bangalore. I'm a board member there since 2017, and I've been a charter member of Tai since 2007. So Tai is the Indus Entrepreneurs. For those who don't know about Tai, we are present in over 60 countries, 3,000 charter members, enabling startups across the world. And it started out in Silicon Valley in 1990s. The Bangalore chapter started in 1999, so next year is our silver jubilee year. So we have been fostering entrepreneurs and entrepreneurship in the technology hub of India and of South Asia, I must say. And we really work with startups across all areas, both technology as well as domain. And I'm here to share some thoughts on how to enable entrepreneurs and what are the kind of issues that they face and so on. Apart from my role as a board member, I also chair what we call as the Matrix Forum. The Matrix Forum is a long-standing, we are in our 9th year of initiatives in the technology space of Tai Bangalore, bringing together the ecosystem of technologists, mentors, VC firms, and academicians. So hopefully we'll share a few thoughts.
Thank you.
So good evening, everyone. I hope you can hear me. Thank you, Ryan, for having us here, and special thanks to Anil. I think we started engaging close to about a year ago. Fabulous partnership building now between Algorand and T-Hub. And for those of you not familiar with T-Hub, T-Hub is based in Hyderabad. It is India's largest incubator by far from a physical dimension standpoint, apart from other parts. So today we have, at this point in time, we have about 438 startups physically resident in the space which we occupy. And on an annualized basis, we work with about 600 startups in sectors ranging from agriculture, aviation, blockchain, pretty much every letter of the alphabet. And over the last 8 years, we've incubated close to 1,600 startups. Cumulatively, they raised close to about $2 billion of capital. And clearly, when we first started engaging with Algorand, which was close to about a year ago, the Web3 was Greek, Latin, and Hebrew. But I think thanks to the support we've got from all of you at Algorand, Stacy, who I don't see here, Anil, Ryan, you, and of course, okay, yeah, yeah. And one lasting memory of meeting Stacy was the Formula E race in Hyderabad. Yeah, so.
Who won? Did Algorand's team win that race?
I think they did. I'm not sure.
Of course.
Yeah.
We're the world champions. For those of you who don't know, Envision Racing, sponsored by Algorand Foundation, Formula E world champs this year. There we go. It all started in Hyderabad with your help.
And also, I think we have some of our founders here. I can see Pratik. I saw Prabir here somewhere.
Pratik,
but,
yeah.
You know, I think it's at the back. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. And last but not least, Min.
Hi, everyone. I'm Min. I work at the foundation with Ryan and everyone. I lead ecosystem growth, so really just supporting projects and helping them grow within the ecosystem.
Many ecosystems.
Yeah.
So I think what's really great about this panel is we sort of have different stakeholders involved in propping up entrepreneurs, not just Web3 entrepreneurs, but entrepreneurship generally, right? So obviously venture capital funds, key source of capital, network, mentorship, you know, kind of emotional support for entrepreneurs. Anybody who's tried to start a company, it can be difficult at times. You need to lean on others for support, people who have been there. And then of course, you know, sort of a physical space, a place to connect, incubate, get the best ideas, and actually have space to work together and collaborate on ideas, in addition to, you know, technology like provided by Algorand. So I think where I wanted to take our conversation today is just generally from each of the roles that you fulfill in this ecosystem, what do you think entrepreneurs need generally, and how do you provide that in your capacity? So I thought maybe we'll start with you, MS, at the T-Hub side, because obviously the work you've done with the state of Telangana and kind of the government support in addition to the physical space is what makes T-Hub a special place. I had the privilege to go there in March, and I was just absolutely amazed by the scale, and obviously the numbers you're doing are quite impressive. So tell us a bit more about what's in the pipeline when it comes to entrepreneurs, especially Web3 and Algorand.
Sure. So I think, so broadly, apart from the physical dimensions, the number of startups, so what we are trying to do is, you know, provide every founder, right, or every entrepreneur access to what is required to, you know, to be able to build, to set up, build, and scale.
Yeah.
So we put together a framework. We call it the 6 M's and 2 P's, okay, in terms of what we do for our entrepreneurs. So the first M is around methodology. So we have a range of programs for early stage entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. So idea to MVP, and then we have a design program. Then we have a program on helping them get their, define or refine their go-to-market and product market fit.
Yeah.
And then of course, help them with putting together a defensible thesis when they're looking to raise capital.
Right.
So range of programs around that space. The second M is around helping them raise capital. So we invest, we put together a small fund, we invest in early stage startups, but we work with, you know, close to 70 plus investors,
Yep.
angel networks, as well as early stage, you know, VC funds like the one he runs.
Fantastic.
The third is around market access. So big challenge for a no-name startup is obviously how do you get in front, particularly in the B2B space, how do you get in front of large customers and basically be able to navigate, you know, complex procurement and also get in front of the right decision makers.
Right.
So market access is a big part of the work we do. The fourth is around mentorship. So clearly both, technical mentorship, right, as well as business mentorship is something which all early stage founders, I mean, if Bill Gates can have a mentor, so
Yeah.
can every, you know, startup founder. So that's our philosophy. And the fifth is around what we call motivation community. So how do you create, so for example, when we started on the Web3 space, we today have about 60 plus entrepreneurs. So, and essentially, obviously, the whole peer-to-peer networking, collaboration, and all of that stuff. Mm-hmm. And last but not least is also how can early stage founders get access to talent or manpower. So, you know, it's hard for a early stage founder to be able to acquire talent because they're competing for talent with the big boys. So doing a lot of, what we call job fairs and, you know, internship mailers. And then the 2 P's are around partnerships. So helping them with, early stage entrepreneurs need access to accounting, legal, tax, patenting, digital marketing, recruiting services. So empanel partners who can provide that at, either a notional cost or no cost. And last but not least is policy. So you would have heard this morning, our IT secretary Jayesh was here, and he would have spoken about the regulatory sandbox initiative,
Right.
which we are doing in Telangana for blockchain.
Wow.
So obviously there's a significant amount of input which goes in from our end into that.
So that's all you're doing? That's it? That doesn't seem like
Yeah,
very much.
pretty much.
Full stop solution at T-Hub. That's impressive. I will mention, when we went to the event in March, I met Shandan from Onrat Money, who's now joined the Algorand Ventures portfolio company family. So there is good deal flow, good engagement with the investment community there. I know Amit's spent some time at T-Hub as well. So what do you think? Is that the type of place you like to engage and source deals, is at these incubators that are building up their network?
Yes, definitely. No, I was very grateful to actually join in the inauguration ceremony, like when it was launched, and I think it has the record for the largest kind of, if I'm not mistaken, the largest incubator in the world. So definitely, I think the way they are able to bring the community, and one thing specifically about T-Hub is, I think it's definitely differentiated itself in terms of being Web3 friendly, in terms of attracting those entrepreneurs. One of the very few incubators, like there are a lot of incubators, but very few in India who actually can speak the language of Web3 and attract that kind of mindset. So.
Yeah, can you speak to that maybe a bit more? Because, entrepreneurship, there's a process, it's kind of like baking a cake, right? You want the right ingredients, you got to put them together, you got to put it in the oven. It comes out, hopefully everybody gets a piece of the pie, right? But is there something different or specific you think companies building in the Web3 space, for lack of a better term, need that T-Hub, something like a T-Hub can provide, or something like Tai can provide?
No, definitely. I think, so one of the kind of key differentiators between like Web 2 and Web 3 that we have seen is Web 3 requires a different kind of mind. First of all, you get like liquidity earlier in Web 3 because of all the listing platforms and everything which are out there, and you got to speak the lingo of Web 3, like what are smart contracts, which exchanges are you connecting with, who are your customers. So it's very different in that sense, and a very important angle is when you bring in tokenomics. So rather than traditional marketing, how do you have a utility token or a governance token, single token model, double token model, how you incorporate that. And especially in India, like one thing which we are witnessing is all of the top protocols which you see, one thing which, being born here, which I'm very proud, is they have somebody from India. Like they have either on the development side, you have REST developers, you have developers on Algo, you have all key. There are a lot of people on the development side. Yeah. There are a lot of people on the tokenomics side as well. So it's very critical for them in those initial stages when, almost the thought process is just coming up, to get the right support which places like T-Hub provide in terms of getting access to other people who are doing it, getting access to platforms like Algorand, right. How do you leverage the technology, getting the right education in terms of how do you build smart contracts on Algorand, and then, kind of getting access to the VCs and everything which they provide. So I think generally for us, what happens is we do see a market difference between the deal flow we get from somebody who has gone to a place like T-Hub, their quality, what they have built, and when they pitch, versus somebody who has not gone there and kind of
hardened and validated the concept a bit more because of the kind of dialogue that they have.
Exactly.
I see. Well, Min, I mean, that sounds kind of true to the experiences that we have day to day in Algorand, right? It's kind of that rising tide lifts all boats. The community, the village builds up the project, so you need that supporting community to kind of have the collaboration to take everything to the next level, right? Project by project.
I mean, it's so new. This whole space is so new that you can't expect entrepreneurs building in it to know what to do, right? And so I think this idea of a community, of a network, and to knowledge share is so important, I think, in Web3. And also just the pace of it is so fast that if you don't keep up, you're left years behind, just given how fast things move. So I think it's so important, more so than Web2, where the infrastructure is already built. In Web3, we're like building it as we're trying to grow it, So I think it's very different.
Yeah, I do fundamentally think that is sort of the differentiating feature of entrepreneurship in the Web3 space is the pace at which things are moving forward. Like, it literally can be month by month. There's a different trend. There's a new technology stack. There's some market development that you have to be on top of. And if you're not, you might have fundraised a month ago, but you're not relevant to where the market is now as you're trying to launch your project. So that's the difficulty. But having said all that, TR, I think there are some tried and true fundamentals to entrepreneurship and some things that we can look at that are beyond any sort of market trend. It's actually just, kind of the holy law of building. So how does Tai look at that situation?
Yeah, that's good. So I'll try to present something that is different from each of these constituents because Tai is not a company. We are a society. We are all volunteer driven. Each one of us is a volunteer. We are not a VC. We are not an incubator. We are not a company. What are we then? We are basically fostering entrepreneurship across the world, across all these cities. A lot of them are of Indian origin because that's where it started in Silicon Valley. But what is it that we bring to the table which is enabling the success of entrepreneurs? If you look at the entire history, the successful companies are in low single-digit percentages today. So which essentially means your success rate depends upon your ability to get it first time right in terms of product development, product market fit, access to the market, access to the runway of capital, and above all, a sustaining power to be able to go through this whole, not just with these, but with also the mental strength that you need through the ups and downs of entrepreneurship that we go through. So that is what Tai brings to the table because we have a huge network of mentors and charter members like me. And for example, take Bangalore, we have over 350 now charter members. And what we say is, whoever you want to reach in this, you're just one network or one connect away from a charter member. So, and we work together. So if you have any difficulty and if you want to spot a domain expert or if you want to spot a marketing expert, you will be able to connect very easily. So that's what we enable. We enable connects for you to be able to overcome the risks and mitigate the risks if you want. Second is product development, especially with new products, takes time and to reach to the market maturity. We've seen that, right? With Web 1, Web 2. For example, I'll give you the example through the Internet of Things, IoT, when it started. IoT started in 2014, but we started to evangelize IoT in terms of commercial applications. Today it is very easy. We carry mobile phones, just all the IoT gadgets. It's got gyros, it's got sensors, it's got everything. But this was not true earlier. How did these come about in every device that we use? And how did these developments take place in terms of product integration? That takes a runway through technology adoption, product market fit in terms of the right, because product development is only about 20%. The rest 80% is really getting to the market and having the market success in terms of money, because that's what entrepreneurs want. VCs want a 10x, 15x, 20x return, right? Incubators want success stories in terms of percentage of success of the companies incubated.
Yeah.
So in order to enable all these, you will need to be able to provide the mentorship, the access, and also mitigation of risk that is required. And above all, what I call a techno-business mentoring, which is what our charter members provide across. The extent is Global Connect. We are over 3,000 charter members. We just finished a Tai Global Summit in Singapore 2 weeks ago. And this is where we come together. The last year, Tai Global Summit last year was in Hyderabad. The next year it's going to be in Bangalore. So we come together and we are able to not give you access in the Indian market, but global markets. So that hopefully answers a part of the question.
How many countries is Tai in? So I know
60 countries.
Obviously, Silicon Valley was the mothership, the original
Yes.
chapter, and now you have Bangalore.
We have Bangalore, NCR, Delhi NCR is a big Tai center. Mumbai is a big Sai center. I'll also give you another aspect which is important as far as proliferation is concerned and how this is going to be. We're just not in Bangalore. We partner with the government a lot. So almost every initiative of the government of Karnataka, which is called the Karnataka Digital Economy Mission, KDEM, we are a part and parcel of their plans. We are part and parcel of the $1 trillion economy. If India has to be a $10 trillion, Karnataka will be $1 trillion, okay? Wow. Because we contribute 10%
at
minimum,
least, yeah.
Okay? So we are already a part of the $1 trillion economy. We are also part of the initiative to be an entrepreneur, don't be a job seeker, be a job provider. Because everybody cannot find jobs given the population and the youth and the educated youth here. So all these are there. we have proliferated Tai across the other metro cities in India, in Karnataka. Tai Mysuru, for example, is going to become a semiconductor hub. Tai Hubli Dharwad is another area, which is Tai Bangalore is another area. So we're already proliferating beyond the city, the big city, to other cities.
So you have some specialization in
yes,
local
specialization. Tech. Clusters, we call them. I can talk about it a little later. Okay, so hopefully I've answered your question.
Absolutely. Well, it seems like T-Hub's focus then is to kind of be the Web3 first incubator space in India, the preeminent one, right? So you're going to go take Bangalore's lunch, right? Because Bangalore traditionally has been the IT one. That's what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
No. That's to MS. I mean, he's coming for you guys, right?
So I'll quickly respond. I think, so first of all, I think Bangalore had a head start.
Yeah.
Right? Bangalore, entrepreneurship has been, a fashion of the day for the last 40 years or so, or close to that, if you will. It started with the Wipros and the Infosys of the world, and so on. So obviously, we regard Bangalore as a frenemy, friendly enemy. Anand.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And the whole idea is, I think, there are things we can learn from them. Yeah. And obviously, I think in some areas, we realize, it's almost like that old Abyss, slogan. So we are number 2, so we try harder.
Yeah, the underdog coming up. So,
Amit, given all this activity you're seeing, I'm wondering, why do you still live in Mumbai? That's not where you're going to get the best deal flow. That's old Bollywood, that's finance.
Yeah, it's close to all the Bollywood stars.
Oh, that's
No, I'm
why.
just kidding. Just my,
You like the glitz and glamour more than the
actually,
tech
with-
startups.
Yeah. So the good, actually, so in India, it's how the dynamic plays out is a lot of the fintech ones. So Mumbai is like, the finance hubs, all the key banks and all are there. Generally, for all the SaaS and tech play, Bangalore is kind of the king. Plus Hyderabad there, and then again, you can't stereotype. There are kind of startups again, and then NCR generally is where all the consumer startups. So generally that's the spread. I just happen to be in Mumbai because my family is there. So that's. But Web3 anyway is all kind of online.
Yeah. Well, so staying with you, what are you seeing these days that makes a company investable versus not? Obviously, market cycles dictate a lot of deployment, valuations, other kind of concepts in evaluating whether or not a deal is go or no go. But do you find yourself analyzing deals differently, but whether or not they're a Web3 crypto native project versus maybe some of the real world solutions or other projects that we've seen highlighted at the summit?
Yeah, I think, see, one thing for sure is we are seeing a lot of like real world assets. So there is a play on getting real world assets. So there has been like, getting tokenizing real estate, tokenizing climate credits, tokenizing funds, tokenizing all these.
Seen a few of these out here.
Exactly,
yeah.
a lot of people there. So RWAs are definitely a theme, and I think, kind of Algorand is well positioned, well poised to kind of take a lead there just because of all the attributes that the chain has, right? Along with that, the other thing is, so one thing which was very good is, 2022, 2023 was definitely a very tough year for everybody in Web3. It started with the whole kind of Terra Luna, then FTX, then one thing after another keep hitting.
What were those? I've never heard of those. Yeah,
so, but it was very good. Like today, for example, we met some of the kind of companies that actually candidly have run out of runway, and they are basically the founders. And that's where I think the mentorship and the mentality and how strong the founder it comes in. So we do have kind of companies in the portfolio where they are bootstrapping in. They have run out of runway, but they're still staying alive, putting their own monies. And I think that to some extent that is entrepreneurship. Like, do you stay alive to see another day? And things are looking like now with kind of with BTC having coming, with when BTC coming, and usually there is a huge Bitcoin dominance. All the altcoins come up. So coming to next year, we do feel that we are going to get into another, especially around Q2 next year. We feel that we'll be in another kind of bull cycle. So. I think these entrepreneurs who have stayed alive will definitely, I think, see good from the uptrend. So RWAs, people who have stayed alive and kind of lived to see that 2024 bull cycle.
Yeah.
And then the third thing is infrastructure. We are doing a lot of infrastructure play as well, because I think, especially on the cross-chain side, because we feel that is very critical part. So how you integrate people on Algorand chain with other chains, how they can bring liquidity to Algorand, invest here, get yield from here, and so on.
Can you talk a bit more about that thesis? Because I think that's core to kind of the VC mandate that I see, right? I think a lot have concluded there's too many fragmented user bases across Web3 and respective blockchains. So why are we kind of limiting ourselves to a single audience when the entire world is thinking about interoperability in a different way, at least from the investment standpoint, right?
Exactly. I think that's a very critical point. That's the thesis of this cross-chain fund, and where we are kind of integrating Algo with all the other chains which are in there. The idea there is, from a user point of view, they really don't mind whatever chain you are building on. Frankly, they don't care. From the user point of view, the idea is, hey, what problem are you solving for me?
Yeah.
And plus there is so much of liquidity. For example, we have Quantum Temple here, right? They are launching their collectibles and experiences in Algorand. And how, if suppose they want to transfer, they want to do a secondary transaction from Algo, they want to sell it to somebody in Polygon. Today they cannot do it because they have integrated 3 chains. So with one integration with a cross-chain bridge, like for example Wormhole, they can actually enable and suddenly get linked to 60 chains, right? And similarly, somebody who wants to come and take advantage of the liquidity on Algorand through, for example, Folks.finance, somebody wants to earn yield on Folks. How can somebody sitting in Solana can come and invest and come and invest in Algo, get yield from here and transfer it back. So that's the whole idea of interoperability.
Right.
That's what we see as the future of.
And that's more investable than
that's
not
kind
doing
of,
it. So Min, are you seeing that on the ground day to day with projects that were bear hugging at Algorand, or what do you?
I mean, we're bear hugging.
What are you advising?
All the projects. No, I think what's interesting is there's a lot of passion, right, for the entrepreneurs building in Web3. You really believe that there's something revolutionary about what you're thinking about. And I think that shows through in what you're saying in terms of them sticking around. They're just so committed to building, and I think we see that in a lot of the projects, because the last year, as you said, was not the easiest, but we see a lot of projects just powering through, sticking around. And I think the other interesting dynamic, though, is also, real-world assets, for example. These trends happen so quickly that I think projects also move very quickly along with these trends. And that's just, it's actually really amazing to see. Just, interoperability became a thing, and now Folks Finance has already launched on Binance and other chains so quickly. I think the pace in which these projects are moving in our ecosystem, and others as well, I think is very, it's impressive. It's impressive. Yeah.
So sometimes I wonder, is the tail wagging the dog, or is it actually that there's market preference from VCs, and then the projects adapt to kind of that narrative or that desire to get funding, or is it actually there's some technology enablement that facilitates these trends? I think it's a combination of the two.
Yeah,
it's got to be both. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, so what do we have to look forward to next year? We've marched through the valley of death in 2022, 2023. So if you're still standing and you've been building, we applaud you and your efforts. So give yourselves a pat on the back, because I think there's some green shoots coming, and I think. MS, you want to talk about what's going to be happening with Algorand in the future? I think T-Hub and Algorand have a lot of work to do together.
So I think, so I'm pleased to, put on record today that we are going to be working very closely with the Algorand team. We're launching a program early next year, January.
Great.
Essentially, we're going to combine the technical prowess of Algorand and bring together our ability in terms of incubation, market access, and all of that. So we're launching a program where we're going to identify 20 startups. We're going to announce that the call for application is going to go out fairly soon. 20 startups across different areas. Great. And we're going to work with, Anil is putting together a team of technical architects who are going to work with the startups to make them market ready from a technical standpoint. And our focus is on making them market ready, funding ready, and hopefully Amit can write some checks, and obviously work with a lot of our corporate partners to see how many of those solutions can actually be put into
get some customer validation.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So we should get the ball starts pretty much today.
All right, and, you hear that? Applications opening soon. Let's go. What's that?
Yeah, and I want to thank Anil and Stacy for all the support. Conversation has been on for about a year, but we've now got to the finish line.
All right.
The hard work starts now, though.
Excited. Let's go. 2024. Now, Tai, I know, has something in the works as well, so don't want to leave Bangalore behind, you know?
Obviously, yeah, right?
Yeah.
So after the first announcement, there's a second announcement from today. Okay, so
somebody has to go first.
Let's go for it. I think I would like to thank Anil and Professor Nikhil. We just met 2 months ago, and then things moved along pretty fast in terms of, obviously, we said, why are you not present in Bangalore? And we did a very quick workshop together with IISc, and it worked out very well. And then we said, let's work together to enable 3 major constituents to empower startups. The first one is all the startups in and around the geography in terms of deepening their experience with the Web 3.0 technology, the opportunities that are present here, obviously with the Algorand platform, and do a lot of focused workshops, test beds, and so on and so forth, which we have been continuously doing across all the technologies and domains. We'll also pick a couple of domains in which we can make impact and start to develop and foster startups in that particular area. So the first part that we will work on. The second one is through the knowledge sharing and knowledge dissemination across the universities. Tai has a program of Tai University as well as TYE, Tai Young Entrepreneurs. So we'll use that network. We also run Tai University Awards and many such programs in order to cover the 400 plus odd engineering institutions across the state. And therefore we will be working with the education system in order to be able to work both with students in terms of projects as well as with faculty to be able to take the technology and actually research more deeper into applications and essentially make this a part of the learning process within the engineering institutions. Third area where we want to work together is Bangalore having more than 400 of the top Fortune 500 GDCs as well as innovation centers that are there. Tai has a whole lot of corporate connects along with them. So we will use those opportunities in order to be able to present our partnership. So these are the 3 pillars on which we are going to start working on this, rolling out from January 1st. So I'm very happy to be able to announce this partnership with Tai Bangalore and Algorand.
Congratulations. Fantastic.
Can I add something really quick to this? We are so excited to be working with both T-Hub and Tai Bangalore, and it just, I just kind of want to say that this is an important part of our strategy in India for 2024 to work with partners like you to really accelerate the startup ecosystem here in India and building and solutions for the real world. So I think without you guys, we'd be much slower. So we're super excited to work with you guys and all the hard work that Anil and the team has done as well.
I second that notion. Absolutely. Thanks to Anil and team for laying all the groundwork. The Algorand team has done an amazing job facilitating these partnerships, and I think India is going to be a hub for this ecosystem that allows Algorand to shine on a global scale. So we take that responsibility very seriously. And of course, Amit and Borderless, you're doing the cross-chain stuff, right? So it's not just about this insular Algorand ecosystem. Obviously, we have the best tech, but that tech can kind of be felt and touched by users across the Web3 space. So
Exactly. So how we integrate and kind of make sure that Algo is speaking to all the other chains and users are experiencing the best of what Web3 has to offer.
There we go. With that, I think we're basically at time. Any closing words? Words of wisdom, advice?
Yeah, as MSR said, the hard work is ahead of us where the rubber meets the road, and we really have to work with the entire ecosystem.
Absolutely.
Look forward to it.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Look forward to a great partnership.
Thank you. As usual. Cheers.